Hope everyone is doing well or whatnot. I'm gonna get to the point that I think that needs to be said here. I don't think that for those of people who may feel a little bit slighted, like you've been in your practice for 10,000 hours or more. I don't think that you're going to have to worry about your services becoming obsolete as it relates to AI tools. Okay? So I just want to say that I'm just going to tell you that there are so many things that are opening up, and you got to take stock of a couple of different things. If you are a medium, you don't have to be a medium for other people. That doesn't have to be your career. I don't know if anyone has actually sat down and really had this conversation that wasn't in the business of spirituality or new age spirituality, um as it relates to developing more psychic or telepathic abilities. You do not have to work as a medium for your abilities to anchor success into your life. As a matter of fact, I truly believe, even though I don't agree with about 50% of the things that maybe Elon Musk states, especially how he feels about the movie Sinners, lacking a huge amount of relatability and even his microaggressions as it relates to crimes that are purported against people that are white, when the largest group that hurts white people as it is in black people, Asian people, anywhere, is going to look just like them. You're going to have more of a threat of people that look like you that are going to do more damage to you. I think that being a cardinal sign, Cancer, whether you're Capricorn, Aries, Libra, it can lead a bit of racism and prejudice. I think that that is very human for people to have a bit of prejudice about themselves. I think that it is human and it's tribal. I think that if anything, that is the most ancient uh, uh, grouping of ancient and human like quality for someone to be tribal and to be pro-tribal, especially in a world like this. Even if listen, you know that this is a crazy fucking world. Anytime a billionaire is stressed out, damn near a trillionaire. And I know that they say more money, more problems, but the people who said that were not batting towards $1 trillion. Okay, and this person is quite a genius. And so if they're worried about the minutia as it relates to race and humanity, and the survival of those who look like them because they're mentally not ill, the fuck, like people get mad at me when I say this shit, because it's like, oh, but why are you agreeing with him and he's racist? I said, wait a minute. Me and that motherfucker got more in common than me and you. That motherfucker see race. I do too. That motherfucker right there is proud of who the fuck they are. I am too, bitch. I resonate with that man more than I do you. Cause what do you mean, bitch? You practicing Wicca, and you come from a long line Apollo Mayambe Congo spirit wielding motherfuckers. What is you talking about? Exactly. The fuck? I got more in common with that. I got more in common with him than I do with you. Crazy motherfucker, you. Yeah, that way. See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all, we need better thinkers in this motherfucker. Cause how you gonna if you don't have that's really what I'm here to talk about. If you don't have a creative mind, you're not going to make it. If you listen, you're not gonna make it, babes. You're not gonna be able to make this shit work if that mind lacks creativity. Did y'all see that the product that Wisdom put out? Can you imagine? Check this shit out right here. I'm finna lay some cold-blooded game down on you. You would think my ass was. What the fuck did I just say, y'all? I be okay. You can tell I'm a grandparents baby. I really am. You can tell that I spent the majority of my childhood around them. But anyway, listen. Did y'all see that Project Wisdom put out? Did you did you see the project that Wisdom put out with the planets? I shared it on my community page. I think I did. I don't know if it was before I was doing the work of the Lord or if it was after. I don't know quite yet. I don't remember rather. Um, if you are an astrologer, if you are a medium, if you are a tarot card reader, you should have been put to fucking shame, bitch. This done went over some people's heads who have no business in my space. They literally have no business here, right? They have no, there's nothing, you know, they fell for some bullshit. And I guess it's just like, maybe they think I'm their mom. I don't know. I would just, if I were your mom, I would have urged you to be a lot more impressive than you have been in the ways in which you have imprinted on me. That would not be the product of my tutelage. Okay? If you did not, seriously, I got glasses in hand, okay? These some cold-blooded glasses. Let me tell y'all something. Michael Kors did that. I still have these glasses. These glasses are 7 years old, 7 or 8 years old. And I have not seen a pair like these right here. Okay? I had to take my glasses off, bitch, to see the vision of everything. And mind you, I'm in my head movies to remember what Wisdom did. But I had to take my glasses off. You know what I'm saying? To really get up in here and really put it together so that I can envision the shit I want to say. You should have been put to shame if you are an astrologer, a medium, a tarot card reader. When you saw that project that Wisdom put out, you mean to tell me that you are reading tarot cards, which in and of itself, the reason in and of itself is art, and mystics are some of the best artists, or artists are some of the best mystics. If you are doing readings to get at another bitch because you're jealous that she is doing whatever she's doing, and you feel threatened because she's fucking somebody who you're old enough to be their mom, if you put more energy into talking crazy to that person than you are in getting yourself connected to the rebrand of society's fashion and or uniform in relation to the downloads that are coming onto this planet, bitch, you are wasting space. You really, really, really are. You really, really are. You cannot sit here and tell me. I know just because you are good at what you do, that doesn't mean that you're going to have the eyes on you and maybe not even the readiness or opportunity. But do you know how many people are willing to pay for ideas, people, to give them concepts? I spend concepts every day and all day. And somehow, someone who's gossiping and has a basic tarot ability thinks that me and them are speaking the same language and are on the same frequency and come from the same density. Somewhere in their mind, because they don't have a life, they don't actually have skill set, meaning that just because you read tarot doesn't mean that you have to be a tarot reader. As a matter of fact, I would propose that someone who is particularly well breast in psychic abilities could absolutely kill the competition in corporate America, could be an absolute force in a courtroom, could absolutely nail things in politics, could absolutely charm those who put cast a spell the the collective via media. Some people are very talented telepaths and they've never served a client a psychic reading one day of their life. And some of you are opening up portals of spirits that are aligned with jealousy, lies, coveting, and all of these things by casting with your tarot cards while trying to program negative circumstances for someone else because you feel inadequate. And that is a choice. The fact that you don't even dream about designs, like I'm trying to, like I sometimes, when I saw what Wisdom did with his concepts, and even if he's not an astrologer, which I have a hard time believing that he doesn't understand what he's doing. I just have a hard time. You couldn't imprint that on me. And if he doesn't know anything about astrology and mysticism, then he might just be more talented than he knows he is. Like, seriously, to just conceptualize. I know that there was a team of people that put it together, but there had to be someone who had the initial idea to give the creative direction of that project. And if it is not him and he's just a spokesperson for it, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant work getting yourself involved with people who think like that. That in and of itself is accomplishment. Your associations are accomplishments, guys. You understand what I'm saying? And when you have a poverty mind state, you think that your poverty is a consistent thing that you are plagued by, when the truth be told is that it sets you apart. It gives you a leverage that other people don't have, and you see it as poverty instead of ingenuity. There are some people who are builders of homes in South Africa using steel that, should they get a grant to study architecture, okay? Let's say they have this, they get this grant from some company, some Dutch company or whatever. And they bring them through to study how to work with advanced materials, different materials than we've used in house masonry thus far, right? Because of what they did with what they had, they are aeons ahead of the competition who come from suburban westernized societies because of their ingenuity, and the continuity of their survival while being evaded by Dutch, and removed from the discussions of their natural resources temporarily, you would see some of the most incredibly designed buildings and structures on land and water. My God. There are places, I believe there, I don't know if it's Nigeria, but I know it's on the west bank, like the western part of Africa, where the whole community lives on water. That's ingenuity. Okay? So what do you think happens if someone invests technology, opportunity, assistance and connection with those who are already doing such things? Let's say someone who already does structural design, maybe in fashion, but they have a passion for structural design as it relates to agriculture. Why did that come through? There's something coming on the horizon about agriculture and building structure, some sort of structure for, I'm gonna have to come back and listen to me sequence that and kind of go down a rabbit hole. I'm my number one fan. I listen to myself and I'm like, what, girl, you was cooking, okay, purely cooking right there. But I guess I'm trying to say is this: that ingenuity, when it meets opportunity, it's almost like you one day you saw these people a certain way, and then you blink, 10 years goes by and they are existing in one of the most modernized, advanced societies in the world. And it's not by accident, it was by the fact that for centuries, generationally, these people were able to make do with little and make so much more. So when you are able to be thankful for what it is that you have and you can make something out of nothing, what happens when people invest more somethings? You're going to make a lot of things that we didn't even know that we needed. And you have now equity as it relates to world power. I'm telling you something right now, but when you are a gossiping, jealous, comparative, entitled, selfish son of a bitch or daughter of a bitch, male or female, you do not have the capacity to understand what I'm saying. And you have the nerve and the absolute fucking gall to come listen to me in the shadows, might I add, in the shadows, and think that you can sit at my goddamn table. Fuck out my face with this shit. I think you're pathetic when you do something like that, family. When you got all this time to worry about what someone else is doing, when you still are out here practicing magic, that is the very fucking magic that enslaved your people and disenfranchised continents, I think you are a piece of shit. And you wonder why nothing goes right for you in your life. You went a distance just to come back and do it over again. And you don't even have the intelligence to be embarrassed. And you want to sit here and act like you are an equal. You are not even an equal to the ingenuity of ants. To be quite honest with you, most humans are not equal in ingenuity or integral abilities as ants. To be quite honest with you, ants are quite powerful. If we were size for size, they would wipe our ass the fuck out. Okay, I am convinced that they are of a different and much higher vibrational form of life. Okay, and we're merely just getting their representatives. Okay, you to sit here and listen to me waiting on something with me, and I have survival in my DNA. I could not. I would actually want to talk to my therapist twice a week if I ever let a raggedy bitch worry me when there's so much more. Like, I was inspired when I saw what Wisdom did. I was so inspired. I was like, wow. And I was inspired because of the details and of each rendering of each planet. Some the details and the care. I can even tell that when if I start to remote view in a way, but it's not remote viewing, I can almost see someone sketching and having like joy, like someone laughing and saying, this is going to be fire right here. I can see people getting excited looking at their iPhone and looking at the sketches of the images and coming up with ideas about how they want to put the garment together structurally and becoming thrilled. I mean, I see people in advanced work rooms playing like they're 5 and 6 and 7 years old with the joy of a child and making groundbreaking art that takes society to the next level. And I am particularly proud because it was done by a black man, because of the image and the representation and what that does as it relates to the ways in which it ricochets out into the world and reinforces the brilliance that are found in our sons and our daughters. And so you can understand that if I think this way, I'm going to take issue with anyone who plots and schemes to use footage, YouTube footage, to embarrass a young man who has garnered the respect of the whole world because he won't let them part his Red Sea in the ways that they want to do. If he was going to do it, it ain't going to be under you in that kind of way. I'm not trying to push a particular sexuality onto anyone, but I'm just saying. So you don't realize that your fucking jealousy, and I'm talking more than this little pathetic ass group that's here on YouTube that don't have anything better to do. Yes, at every level, that type of patheticness exists at every level and at every echelon of prosperity, plentifulness of money or not. That it's a invasive species that goes into you and tears your soul apart. It is the accumulation of demonic energy in exchange for your soul that happens in celebrity. You would go, all the little boys who look up to someone that are dark complected out of Brazil, Colombia, huh? Tanzania, Ethiopia, Ghana, Senegal, that person looks like. And you want to get up here and laugh and act a fucking fool and allow your jealousy to push you to do something to embarrass or bring that person down when his very image is pivotal to raising up a nation of people who actually believe that they can do something. They may not be a streamer, but they may go into the technology to learn how to build systems and networks that support streaming of the future. You would risk that and make it analogous with failure. When a black man touches the sky, he has failure. All because someone who might or might not be a Zionist has a pull string in your motherfucking back. Huh? You're going to go and risk this person and risk us all as a collective because of your selfish motherfucking ass. It is through your influence that black men do not know what they have in spades as it relates to their mate naturally. But you want to take your old cow ass. Yes, I'm saying that because you don't have no nuts anymore. You might as well be a eunuch, as far as I'm concerned. You want to take your ass and you want to embarrass this person and take the wind out of their sail because they're doing what you were entrusted to do by the Most High. But you got hypnotized by the blinding lights. And now your ass have to coon on sight to stay relevant. And if it wasn't for young male streamers, your bitch ass wouldn't be hot. You had to go to a younger man because the motherfuckers in your industry don't fuck with you like that. You had to hop on his stream to gain relevance. And you bring all of that shit to these young black men. We already are fucked up in the first place, meaning that we have inherited a country and an economy and a world that is grossly far removed from what was promised to us by those who told us to go to school, to go ahead and take the student loans out because you're going to be able to afford you the ability to pay those off because of the type of jobs your training will bring you. And there are some people who are brilliant, sitting on tens of thousands of dollars of student loans because what was promised to them was not given. You have baby boomers who are fucking this country up, and now we have to rely on those who are in their 20s to rebuild it. And you're going to take your crusty ass over there to create contention between these young men. You got me fucked up, nigga. And I say that shit with love. And I mean that with passion. I don't give a fuck about a bitch's fucking commentary because she got a son a certain fucking age. And I know that one of my sisters talked about this today. I love you down. But I done heard enough of you hoes talk about it. Not that you a hoe, but I got to stand up for myself. So if you put yourself in a place that I got to run through, then bitch, I'm sorry. This is a lesson you just going to have to motherfucking learn today. And I don't lose no love for you. But it's not my fault that you popped out babies as early as you did. And you just so happen have a son at a certain age. That's not my fault. A lot of y'all and a lot of us are very disrespectful to women. You still healing from a nigga trying to date you who was in your motherfucking vicinity that should have protected you. And you mean to tell me you're going to go and bang on a woman telling her what and what not to do? You got some motherfucking nerve. Wrenching up your goddamn upper lip like that. You got some nerve. You need to have a set of morals in such a way that you don't have to go and pick and choose which thing you're going to get lit with. It's funny how, listen, okay? I'm going to need you to pipe that shit the fuck down because y'all be talking a certain kind of way and you got people who love you who you're talking at and trying to have them hold guilt that doesn't belong to them. All because you feel a ways. Okay? I want you to know that elephants, for instance, right? Female elephants, The grandmothers, they have babies up until they're 60 years old. Did you know that? Did you know that sperm from a 35 to 50-year-old man who's been doing cocaine, who's been drinking Hennessy, who's been eating foods that are terrible for him, who carries STDs, causes preeclampsia in women, and is the main precursor to certain levels of deformities in children that are born based on that man's semen, the older man's semen. And this study has been, there's been studies surrounding this, even if that man who's 40 or 50 has that baby with a 19 or 20-year-old woman. The same result. Something's wrong with the fetus because of his sperm. In my goddamn opinion, the people who should have been dating a younger motherfucker should have been women the whole goddamn time. If you ask me. So long as they were an adult, right? Let's not be gross. She has far more to offer, and he has far more years to give if that relationship doesn't last. And there's not going to be a woman that comes after her that's going to be upset that she was first or second or in the picture at all. I want you to sit and think about that. I know you have strong feelings about that, but listen, that's your business, babe. You understand what I'm saying? Like seriously. And if you don't require men to have that same sentiment, you need to have a seat. I love you down, but I done took enough of this shit today. And you bitches got me fucked up. I love my sisters down. But I wish you would, bitch, too proud to get an Ozempic pen. Sit up there winded talking to me, bitch. I wish the fuck you would waddle your goddamn turkey neck at that camera at me, bitch. I'll suck your ass in the throat, hoe. I wish you would, with love. Huh? With love. But I'll beat your ass up. I'm not one of them fat bitches that fall down and roll over. I'm a agile, sturdy kind of bitch, okay? You understand me? I'm not that tall. So I have a really good center of gravity. I'll beat your ass. Or I'll just have to get my ass whooped in it, but I'm going to get a lick. Bitch, I ain't never ran from a fight. I don't give a fuck. You hoes tear my ass up cat raggedy. I'm going to get one of you bitches I'm going to get something that came here. I'm not going to leave here empty-handed. I'm sure 100,000 years ago, before we decided to come down in corporeal bodies, I was somewhere cussing some people out in the Eight Sisters constellation. Like, bitch, you got me all the way fucked up, bitch. You see how I'm shining in this motherfucker, bitch? I know it, bitch. I know, bitch. I know my constellation was everything. It had these holes stuck with they dim lights and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm still doing my thing with Rigel. On the rising and whatnot, They sometimes can't take. And these be my own sisters. I got a sister right now I'm cussing out. Her sun sign is conjunct, I think, Arcturus, or her sun sign is conjunct a fixed star that I think is a red giant. And she get sideways with me. It's not my fault. It's not my fault, baby. Y'all got to get yourself together. I just was going to say that for a moment. Because there is that presence right there. Some of y'all think that you're saying something and you're saying something else. And I don't think you can trust yourself, sis, to not be coming under the cover of jealousy when you say a thing. I don't think you can trust yourself, yes, sweetie. I don't. I really don't. I don't think that you have gotten to that level yet. I don't think you have under I don't think you understand what's actually going on. I think that you having your children have raised an exceptional human being, and it's parts of you that's jealous that there is going to be a woman, and for some of you a man, who's going to get something that you've yet to experience in your life. That's what I think. I think you've raised an exceptional being, and that woman or girl, whoever that is going to have a version of someone that you've not yet experienced for yourself. And I believe that it's a bit that's going on, and then there's some female aggression, sexual aggression going on. But it's not what you think it is. Mm-mm. There's a different kind of conversation we have when we're talking about grown folk stuff. And if you're not jumping up and protecting actual babies, that right there is coming from a different place. This is what I mean by radical objectivity. When I work with people, the things that they are afraid to say that takes the literal breath out of the wind out of their chest, we address it right then. It feels like being scorched by the sun because there's nothing that you can hide. But do you understand that when you can face intense conviction like that, it makes you unstoppable? That's the point. Because then and only then will you be able to release the prison of someone else's abuse upon your vessel. You got to talk about it from a different perspective. And you got to ask yourself, do I hold a certain level of resentment because I raised young men that are going to be far greater than those who helped me create them? And I may have an issue with the women that they may date because I won't have the same thing available, and I didn't have it when I was their age. Because when you're angry about something like that, it generally denotes it generally denotes that you feel too ashamed that you actually, not from your child. Now I'm not filthy. I don't believe in all that weird Western European psychology bullshit, just philosophy. It's just some places we don't go. But I believe that there are certain things about your youth that you wish you could do over. And as much as you would like to believe that this is mother's instinct, no, it's not. It's not that. It's something. It's a valid emotion. Okay, it's a valid emotion. It is. Wow, look at that specimen. Why couldn't I meet someone who had a mother like me to deliver unto me and render unto me a provider the way in which me and his father created him? I've seen this. I've seen this enough in single mothers or in mothers who are divorced from the father of their miracle baby, who happens to be a son. And for some reason, y'all don't understand that men and women are so similar that men do the same thing. You don't think men look at the exceptional examples of their daughter and think to themselves, damn, Look at how I just was a stand-up dude, and look at my daughter. Why couldn't I meet or have that with the woman I had this child with? There's regret that you may feel. And so when you see someone who is your peer in age having an adult relationship with an adult, you feel some kind of way about that. I'm not advocating one thing or another, but I am going to ask you to add this to your syllabus. I am going to ask you to add this to your self-core curriculum and figure that shit out. Because I don't think a woman in her 40s, 50s, 30s should walk around with that kind of jealousy on their heart if they can work themselves out of it, if they have a choice in the matter. Jealousy is a tricky thing, but it's the most honest and the most human thing on the planet. But if you don't feel that same way about men who practically, if they didn't take care of themselves, have the most toxic set of sperm on the planet, if you don't feel that way, 35 plus years old and older, you should be more alarmed of the quality of children that's coming from a much older man who is pure ignorant coming through a younger woman. You should be far more concerned about that. But you don't feel threatened by that. You're going to have to, eventually you got to understand that that child is not yours. They are themselves. You barely got ownership of yourself, but have the audacity to think you own someone else. You barely have your full ownership of yourself. We're gonna have to have some serious conversation. I'm not gonna take up tonight about that, but I'm gonna revisit this conversation because some of y'all really, really, the way y'all talk about Keisha Cole and a lot of women, and you sitting up in that motherfucker talking about what you prefer, and these niggas ain't even making it to 60 years old, girl, you just prefer some air. Now, you might need to rectify. There are some groups of men that you are overlooking. And at this point, being as fine as you are, it's a choice for you to be sitting in that motherfucker bitter. If I pulled up this back, listen, if I pulled up a picture of this bitch that I'm talking about right now, if I pulled a picture of, you would agree with me that it's a choice for that motherfucker to be sitting over there angry about a goddamn thing. You understand what I'm saying? Don't find yourself bitter because you didn't wash under every nook and cranny. Huh? You don't get over there and get in them gay people business. Okay? I'm just saying. All right? Okay, so I'm going to get off of this because I didn't like that. You know Generation X is cooked. And let's not even get started with the baby boomers. And the millennials are fried too. You understand? We might need assistance. You understand what I'm saying? So, the jealousy thing, it is going to hinder you. And it's going to keep you from having innovative ideas. I am one of the best psychics. And I'm not saying I am the best. I'm one of them. But I recognize that I'm also extremely talented in other areas. And it would behoove me to have the support and the strength of that talent made manifest to support in a proper way do the expansions of metaphysics and whatever little corner of it that I can influence in a better way. This means that we have to be a lot less narrow minded and more broad minded, a Jupiterian thing, might I add, and a solar thing. And the reason why I went off to is that I have love for a particular person, and that person was heckled because of their interest, because of this notion about women becoming older and who they should and should not date. And when I saw that, I said a bitch would never do me like that. And it's always stuck with me. It always stuck with me in being as rebellious as I am. I never let that go. I said, I wish you would. I would do some shit just to spite you. Because don't you dare put limitations on the attractive level and desirability of women. Do you know that when a woman doesn't know she's sexy, when a woman doesn't know that she's sexually attractive, that it actually has a very bad effect on her health? I just really want you to understand that. And so for you to turn around and reinforce that notion of her being something that is undesirable is crazy, when we all are going to end up in the same destination at some point in our future. It's crazy to me. Anyway, so yeah, like I was stating here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get up off of here. Like I was stating, think outside your limitations. Be honest enough with yourself to know that you are not nearly where you want to be. And stay out of other people's living circumstances before you fuck around and you gain it for yourself. And for some of you, you have 5 children. I don't think you want to be in your car with 5 children. You need to mind your goddamn business if you care about your kids. Okay? You talked about other people's relationships to then turn around and inherit relationship problems. So, what do you think is going to happen to your financial situation talking about other people's finances? That part. You need to get yourself together, girl. You do not have the upper hand in this situation. You never did. And in fact, the matter is I think that you have some comprehension skills. You wouldn't have been able to do what I do. Not at all. Baby, you would have been ate up the fuck alive right now. They could not drop you off in any place on the globe and you thrive, make friends, and build a community. You don't have enough jazziness about yourself, baby. You ain't got enough self-respect. You ain't got that talk. You can't talk that talk. You don't have enough charm and confidence. You don't even look a man in the eyes. So me and you are two different people. Okay? This makes my arc so much better. I don't see how you don't see that. Start getting involved in your artwork. Start doing your sketches. Start doing your interpretations. Use your psychic abilities to elevate your art forms. You could have an art agency. You could have a publication agency. My God, if you have Sagittarius or ninth house placements, ninth house Jupiter, Mars in the ninth house, Mars in Sagittarius, the publications you can put out are phenomenal. If you have Jupiter conjunct Uranus, you could put out wild ideas that change the world. It almost changes reality when you have Jupiter conjunct Uranus, making connections with any of your other personal planets and informing the signs of those personal planets. You can change the way reality is by making suggestions, different little places, and bringing attention to yourself from the right person. You understand what I'm saying? You can build out your life and just walk into that bitch just by moving a couple of pieces of chess pieces on various boards when you're playing 5D chess and when you're focused on yourself and perfecting your own arts and you're not distracted hating on somebody else. I may be unhinged and I may be quick at the tongue. It's because I ain't got time to waste. I got to put a bitch in their place fast. That's why. So I'm just going to leave this with you. Get serious. Because let me say something. You don't want me to ever become famous, bitch. And I name you in a book. Embarrassed you would be. You and your fucking family. Your kids found out. The people that you live around, especially if you don't make some shit out of yourself, especially if you find yourself in 20, 30 years still an ain't shit kind of person. That's going to be embarrassing. It's a lot of y'all that do shit to people and are jealous of people's success that you try to hinder. And now, the very person that you tried to fuck with, who, if you were good to, could have been the difference between you eating filet mignon or heating up that goddamn ramen noodle pack. And you fucked up that connection because you wanted to be cool with old goofy set of motherfuckers. It's some of you bitches that still the same kind of way. And I'm going to need you to get up off of that. Because you're going to never feel good about yourself around me or other people who overcome the odds. And you won't overcome the odds because you're too busy trying to throw obstacles in other people's way. Eventually, you're going to trip up over your own shit. Okay? So I'm finna go ahead up off of here. You don't have to. If you're a tarot reader, a medium, do not just limit yourself to YouTube in a sense of just being someone's medium. This shit takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on your youth and your vitality. And if you got a bunch of your clients who are chicken-headed and crazy, it can be an energetic drain that leaves your fields very leaky and wide open. And so to give yourself the opportunity, the financial flexibility, I suggest that you strengthen your other skill sets, which would allow for you the ability to move seamlessly between different types of career paths. Especially if you find that you are extremely negative in your readings, and you're extremely competitive with other women. You got issues. Your behavior doesn't allow you to get along with other women. You're not able to be with women who have a little bit more than you and feel adequate in the environment. You're too busy giving advice to people that you do not take, and you refuse to go see a professional for some professional problems. You, I don't know. I'm worried. I'm not really worried about you, but this right here is not what you want to do. And I don't know why you would fuck with a Capricorn and you want a career anyway. We rule the career house. A Capricorn will end you. A Capricorn will dry your motherfucking income up, baby. Doing money magic, doing saboteur magic on a Capricorn is asking for you to never ever succeed in your aims. It really, you got to understand. That's like messing with a Libra's reputation. When Libras represent reputation, right? Unfairly fucking with a Libra's reputation and unjustly doing so gives them an upper hand. It don't matter if we don't like that Libra. When you unfairly fuck with a Libra's reputation and you are wrong, they can, when I tell you they can run over your ass like a steel train, I mean it. It's de facto. If they go to court, Libras rule the seventh house. I'm a sun in the seventh house. So the traditional astrology is Libra rules the seventh house. I also have a rising in the Libra deacon. Okay? When you lie on Libra placements and you purposely put something wrong out there, I want you to know you could be a Libra yourself. Baby, if they did some slick shit to you, they're finna get away with that. Based on the bigger thing that you did and that was misaligned their reputation. So with me being a seventh house sun, you tried to get in front of my career or have anything to do with that, right? Or you misaligned my character or my reputation. That's why you sitting up here mad and talking at your camera with them flashcards today. It ain't doing a fuck thing. And you can feel success with other people. I'm eighth house, Venus and Mercury. I cannot share with the public the areas that those things govern. Got too much going on. Do you know if you have a Venus in the eighth house, if you talk about your relationships, it sabotages your relationships? Shout out to KRS Astrology. If you have Mercury in the eighth house and you speak about the certain type of things, you reveal certain things that Mercury rules, that it sabotages the progress of said thing. Same thing can be true for those who have those placements in Scorpio. That you are far more powerful and your love life is far more rich the more it is shrouded from the view and knowledge of other people. And what that means is that you're always going to be the topic of discussion, and that person and the people who don't like you add to your energetic field and they bring more success and more money. So the more they don't know about what's going on, but you pop out and you got these things happening and you have this client list, and they may not know your list, but they know who you were rubbing shoulders with. They just don't know how you got there. The more they're scheming and talking about you, the richer you become. Remember, the eighth house in Scorpio is a rulership of taxes, other people's money, and inheritances. You have the ability to inherit from those who you are not married to or family by. It said inheritance. It didn't give a parameter of what you could inherit rightfully. You understand? There's a level of power that you obtain from having secrecy. The success of those things are benchmarked upon you keeping your shit out of everybody's business. And you, by respecting other people and keeping them anonymous, you gain respect and prestige in doing so. If you if you find out something about an eighth house person or a Scorpio person, they wanted you to find it out. So long as they don't want you to know something that does not affect you personally. I'm not talking about their spouses. I'm not talking about their children. I'm talking about people outside. You won't find out shit. Whatever you find out, it really wasn't that deep for them. You will destroy yourself trying to undo someone who has integrity with these placements. And they know it. And they let you. This is why they let you do and talk your shit. And you never go any, you will never be a problem for these people. There's not a fucking thing you can say and or do to change that fact. So I suggest you do whatever you want to do. Okay? Because we quite fun. I'm not going to tell you to stop paying me. But if you are seriously having a realization that you want to become unstagnated, you want to be inspired, I suggest that you start getting yourself together and being radically honest about your shortcomings and start pivoting and addressing these issues right away. Not a moment later. Okay? Because you'll never be a monkey on my back. That's already a sign to something. Okay? Real talk. Get your inspiration. If you are in the spiritual community, you might want to see how you can pivot. If you notice that you get a lot of ghetto men and women, it is time for you to get on your bougie shit if you are too scared to hold them accountable for calling you with their bullshit. Especially if you have a relationship, you got to be mindful of people calling you and the type of clients you have and the energetic transference that can happen. All right? So if you don't have a solution and if they don't want a solution, you might need to fire that client and get a lot more serious about what you're doing. Since you got so many things to tell me and don't know a fucking thing about me, I have a lot that I can tell you. You can't say the same about me though. Because anything I touch turns to gold. I suggest you get on your game. All right? For real, for real. But y'all need to check out Wisdom. He did this whole thing with fashion, high fashion, might I add. A very haute couture, might I add. I may be saying it wrong. I have a lazy tongue. So yeah, I think you should redirect your attention to something far more artistic. And I mean, hell, you could have a firm that does design. You design tarot cards, you design artwork, you design filler work that people can put together via an art studio or software, tarot systems. Okay? You can supply the readers if you know it well enough. You could do a lot. If any of you are thinking about fashion, there you go. You might even be able to use your mediumship abilities and pull a trend that may not arrive on Earth until 2780. Wisdom has done it before. Wisdom did. I don't know why anyone's surprised that he executed so beautifully. He did a project one time. I think that he did it was like what are their what like a garment that it was like like some sort of futuristic garment from all the way from like year 3000, right? And so what I'm saying is I'm going to give him the credit, or his team, because when I saw that, I said, whoa, is that the ancient future, or is that the futuristic past? What is that, right? You could pull something, and if you are a talented medium and reader, you can go into the future and pull something from the past, and it's going to be a while before we see it, and it was coming from the past, so we haven't seen it at all, and come up with something that is quite new and refreshing. You could be doing that, but you too busy worried about another bitch whose money and checks ain't worried about you. Okay? That's what I really got for you. I'm going to go ahead and head on out. Y'all have a good one. Peace.